What's up, YouTube? First thing I'll say is that's a lot of wires. Got quite a bit accomplished today. I can show you the steps here. This is going to be the kind of the hardest part, is getting the dash to fit in, and all the necessary components. And I'll show you like some tips and tricks on that. There's a few things you need to customize here. This is the big thing with the GD swap, is just getting the dash to fit. And then the second biggest thing would be just wiring in the taillights, headlights, and doors. That's like the big thing, second big thing, but that's just looking at schematics. This is more manual labor stuff. So you see dash here, dash beam there, and then the heater core. So the first thing you need to do, is going to be that's the second thing. Let me show you the first thing. First thing is going to be taking all this sound deadening off. So you can see where I kind of stopped. Basically, I stopped right at where these start. So I scraped all the sound deadening off. It's better if you don't heat it. If it's cold, it's easier to take off. You can just use a putty knife and a hammer, or like a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. Or like I was using a blade and I was actually going all the way underneath it and kind of sawing as I went. So any one of those will do, but then take off the sound deadening all the way up to the top there. And then what you need to do is bash it with a hammer. So you can kind of see where I bashed it there. So you need to bash it to fit this heater core in, because the heater core is a tight fit. So let me show you how tight that fit is. So this is the heater cord. There's parts dangling. I mean, it is tight. Like really tight. Barely made it right here. And you need to line it up with these screws up top, so that's what makes it even more difficult. It's like it's not impossible, but I've taken it on and off probably about 3 times, and each time it's taken me about 5 minutes. Oh shit, don't want to break anything. It is tight. So I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but let me see if it is. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Okay. So there's 2 screw holes right here that these holes need to go into. There's 2 like kind of screws poking out. So you got to get it around this and then into those screw holes as well. And there's also something in the back you have to worry about. So there we go, there's 1. And there's 2. So as you can see, it's a really tight fit. Like really tight. And the other thing you need to do to get that heater core to fit is to hack some holes out. So you can see I put some rubber hose around this. You can tell that I overshot it a little bit in some spots, but it looks much better. I just cut some rubber hose and put it around. But basically I hacked this hole and hack this hole as well. It fits in perfectly once you hack it. So what you need to do is kind of like make a template. It's better. You can't just guess and shove it in there. This should help you for gauging how close it is. There's a hole right here, and you want to go a little bit above it, just a little bit above it, and then just make a square down. And then for this one, you're about the same height as the master, or the clutch cylinder here. Is that a master? Yeah. The clutch master here, right over, and then down. But you're going to have to make a template of your own to fit that in. So that's just the heater core. Probably going to take you about at least maybe an hour to put the heater core in, just to, you know, if you're doing it properly and not just hacking it up. Then the next fun part is going to be the dash beam. So let me see if I can align this to where it can be seen. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so the dash beam is a fun piece. So first I'll show it like kind of seated in. And then I'll go from there. So kind of get an idea. Okay, so there's the dash beam in. You can see it's pretty close right here, up against this, which is how it's supposed to be. Obviously it's not screwed down right now, so. But now I'll show you what needs to be done with the dash beam, because that is the funnest part, in my opinion. And I say that with a hint of sarcasm. Okay, so first, again, this is the GD dash beam. So first, you need to hack the piss out of this thing. This is the first mount. This is the mount that'll come on the GC or GF8. That's the original mount. Tiny. See, you can kind of line it up with this and see where the holes are supposed to be. At least the top hole. Bottom hole, I made one, but it didn't really line up. So I've done this once before. I was like, this time it's going to be cleaner. It's not going to be as hacky and just like I won't have to throw washers on it, but each time it's just as bad. So the first time I actually did the swap, again, this was just as bad, if not worse, in terms of holes and kind of circling them out. But what I just showed you with the heater core, when I put that rubber hose around, it was huge. It was like a square. It was like a circle, like this big around. It was pretty bad. So, but now I was able to make that look much cleaner, and then I put the rubber hose around it, so it almost looks stock. I know it doesn't look exactly stock, so it just looks much better. This again, I'm gonna have to put some washers on these puppies, but it's where it needs to be right now. It lines up perfectly. So that's that side. The other side and the dash beam are where the fun really comes in. So you need to hack up some stuff, as shown already. There's 3 things you need to hack up. First, the holes. You need to kind of make a template. So kind of get it close, and then I kind of drill out the holes. And the reason I do that, like I get it close, and then you'll see like the holes just getting bigger and bigger and shittier looking and shittier looking. Hey, no one's going to see it. It's the dash beam. So it's not like, you know, you need to make it look really clean. But you'll see as you go, this is kind of like the dash gap that people have referred to with GD dashes. If you just make the holes and that's it, just shove it in there, it'll work. But I test fitted the dash. See the dash here? I test fitted the dash every go. So it was like, make a little bit of a bigger hole, test the dash, make a little bit of a bigger hole, throw on the dash, test it. That way I can kind of see where the gaps are and then kind of go from there. So that's why you'll see a lot of holes, and it looks like they're just getting bigger and bigger. It's not like a normal drill size. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So that's that. The other thing you need to do, and I remember this from last time, this is fun. If you look straight down here, you can tell that that's kind of, hold on, let me get a better angle. You can tell that that's bashed. So basically I just took a mallet to this side. And the reason being is because the way the heater core sits, it's going to hit on the heater core right there. Literally in between those 2 foam pieces if you don't bash the shit out of it. And the reason being is because with a GC or a GF8, it kind of pushes everything forward just a smidge. And that's why you get those dash gaps to begin with. It pushes it forward like about this much. And you need to bash the upper beam about that much, or the dash beam about that much to get that down. So you just bash it. Not a big deal. You can just kind of hammer it and then check. It's another thing. Hammer check, hammer check. Then you need to hack this up. It's a lot of hacking. Again, I've done this once before. I did it blind, and this time I remembered a bunch, so it made it easier. So you can kind of see how this was hacked. It was kind of a straight piece that went down over here and then up. I had to hack that out, so it's just like a single port or a single slice there. And then I had to slice some off the bottom as well. So there's 2 holes there. You can see where I kind of sliced it off. You'll see once you actually take this beam off. This is like the biggest part again of this swap. So the wiring you just kind of throw in to get it up and running. You can just throw the wiring in, not throw it, but put it in and then kind of hook everything up. You just won't have headlights, taillights, or the doors won't be working. Quickly wire in the headlights and taillights, and then you can drive it whenever. I mean, if you just want to hook up the taillights and drive it during the day, you could do that. So, but this is the big part. I think this will come in handy for a lot of people, just seeing this, seeing how it was done, knowing that there's a lot of patience involved. I'm a half-asser that likes to do things quick, and you can't do that with this. You have to take it slow and take your time and kind of go back and forth. It's very frustrating. It probably took me in total about 3.5 hours to do all of this, just because I'm taking the dash beam and the dash in and out. So 2 more things that you have to do inside the car. One, so this will fit. This actually went all the way up to here and then went up and around. So you got to trim this right here all the way down. Same on the other side. Then there are 2 metal pieces right here that hold the old dash up. Just bend them real quick and they'll come off. These holes have plastic pieces in. Just pop those up right there, there, and there. And then you can see the other one where I bent that off. So that's it for the dash swap. I went over it really quick, but again, it's like it's going to be one of the longest, most tedious jobs. Everything, like even putting up the wiring, is going to take a long time too, and kind of, running it. It's going to take quite a bit of time, but this is one of those things where it's just you're doing the same fucking thing over and over again. You're just making holes, checking. The wiring is like running it, and you're not like constantly touching the same wires. And so the next step would be the wiring. And for the wiring, you have to actually, that's why the dash beam and the dash is all off. You have to take the heater core out, which I just put in, and it's a fucking bitch to get out. But you have to take the heater core out, and then the wiring actually goes in behind. So it's going to be a tight squeeze. Okay, that's all I have for today. Again, wiring comes next. And then after wiring, probably I'll move the motor in. We'll start with the underneath and then go from there. I'm looking at like at least another couple weeks on this. I said I would take a couple week break, but it's really hard to come back to just ignore it when you're like thinking about it in your head and you're just like, man, I remember doing this last time and I don't want to lose that information. It was like when I did this last time, I remember I had to do certain things to the dash beam and I didn't want to lose that. So I just went ahead and did it. I said I'm going to take a break, but probably not. I'll probably keep working on it. So that's all I got for now. Thanks, YouTube.